Going back to the FBI. So, what role should the FBI play in combating foreign influence, corruption, and threats to democratic institutions?
One thing that I became acutely aware of when I was following the Mueller investigation was that the Mueller report was was a criminal investigation. And I think that really limited him in terms of what was important. And it should have been a counterintelligence investigation. And a lot of what goes on in the world of espionage is not criminal. Spies collect information. That's not necessarily against the law. Spies can meet regularly with people. Some of it may be prosecutable, but some of it is not. And I wrote a lot about the Russian mafia laundering money through Donald Trump. And for me, this is one of the most important ways in which they gained influence and won Donald Trump over. It started in 1984. A Russian mobster came to Trump Tower, gave $6 million to Trump in return for 5 condos. Trump doesn't really ask, of course, gee, did you get your money from sex trafficking or illegal gambling or anything like that? He wants to have deniability. It's called deliberate blindness. So when he has that, it means it's virtually impossible to prosecute him. How do you get inside the mind of him and prove what was his state of mind when it was
Yeah.
happening?
Well, he
Can't.
himself said
But
he's not turning down money. He's not in the business of turning money
exactly.
down.
But you go down the road and that there were hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars flowing into Trump's empire from the Russians. And this should set off alarms everywhere. And I wish I knew better what the FBI uh, can do to stop that. But it has to become public at some point
Yeah.
that he's getting all his money from the Russian mafia is tied to Russian intelligence. Just think about that for a minute. He had 13 members of the Russian mafia who either owned or had bought condos in Trump Towers. That was his home at the time. The Russian mafia is tied to Russian intelligence. Just think for a moment what kind of breach of national security that means. And yet the FBI knew it, but they kept it from the American people. I think at a certain point, it has to become public.
And I believe counterintelligence is essentially useless if actions aren't taken to disrupt activity that could have exceptionally grave effects on a country. And they certainly dropped the ball here.